Hello, this is a video on how to play the card game Osmosis. Osmosis is a solitaire card game, and it is very unusual in how it's played. And what you'll need is a standard 52 card deck. The objective, like with many other solitaires, is to move all 4 cards to 4 foundation piles by suit in any order. Okay, and so that's the key word there. And so in terms of setting the game up, what you'll do is you'll deal 4 cards, each face down to 4 reserve piles. Right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 reserve piles, and 4 cards initially dealt face down to each reserve pile. The top card of each reserve pile is then turned face up. You'll also deal 1 card face up to one of the 4 foundation piles. In this case, the 6 of diamonds was dealt face up to one of the 4 foundation piles. The remaining cards are set aside, forming a stockpile, and then you'll also have to leave room for a waste pile that will initially be empty. In terms of the gameplay, note that the 1 card dealt to the first foundation pile sets the suit for that pile. Right, and so this foundation pile must have the suit of diamonds. The remaining 3 foundation piles have the 3 other suits, and that's up to you in terms of where you want to arrange the suits. The top card of the reserve pile can be played to the foundation, right? So those would be your top exposed face-up cards. So note how we played the Queen of Diamonds there to the foundation. And we'll talk about that in a second here. Note that when no move is possible, cards are dealt 3 at a time from the stockpile to the waste pile, right? The top card of the waste pile is available for play, and you are allowed to go through the stockpile as many times as you would like. And so it is very hard to lose Osmosis. This is simply because you can go through the stockpile as many times as you like, and eventually you will be able to make some sort of move, right? And so just to wrap it up one more time, 1 card's dealt to the first foundation pile. That sets the suit for that pile. You have your 4 reserve piles with 4 cards each, the top card of the reserve pile being turned face up. When no move is possible, cards are dealt 3 at a time from the stockpile to the waste pile. The top card of the waste pile is available for play. And what you'll notice is that you can go through the stockpile an unlimited amount of times, right? And so however many times you would like to go through the stockpile, you can do so. Now, one more key thing. In the first foundation, you're allowed to play any card of the same suit. Okay? And so in this first foundation pile, I can play a card of any. I can play any diamond as long as I can play any diamond card, right? And so notice the order here, right? It was Queen 6, and then I played a 2. In this case, it's been rearranged. But regardless, you just have to match the suit. The rank does not matter. That's for the first foundation pile. And any of the other 3 foundation piles, only cards with those ranks can be played, which have already been played on the foundation pile one above it. So in any other foundation pile, I can only play and so I can in any other foundation pile I can only play a card whose rank has been played in the foundation pile above it. So in this 3rd and 4th foundation pile, I can't play any card right now. Why? In the 4th foundation pile, I can only play a card that has been played on the foundation pile one above it. There has been no card played on the foundation pile one above it. In the 3rd foundation pile, I can only play a card that has been played. I can only play a card of the same rank that has been played in the 2nd foundation pile. But there have been no cards played in the 2nd foundation pile. In the 2nd foundation pile, I can play cards because there have been cards played on the 1st foundation pile. Right? I can play in the 2nd foundation pile a 2, a 6, or a queen. Okay? And so note that I can't play in the 3rd or 4th foundation piles. The cards you can play in a foundation pile are the ranks of the cards that have been played in the foundation pile one above it. So the 6 has been played in the first foundation pile, so I can go ahead and play a 6 in the second foundation pile. This foundation pile now is of spades, right? And so the game is a little bit abstract, it's a little bit different, but overall it's quite fun. And I feel like it is simple to understand once we go through a quick demonstration here. So a 2 and a queen have been played. And so those are the only cards I would be able to play to the second foundation pile. I can now also begin playing cards to the third foundation pile. The only card that has been played in the second foundation pile is a 6, so I would only, right now, be able to play a 6 to the third foundation pile. I don't have any moves here. I'll draw from the stockpile. I drew 3 more cards, right? And so they are drawn like so. So you could only ever make use of I guess a certain set of cards, and once you use the set of 3, then you'd be able to use the set of 3 underneath, right? But so far it's sort of one at a time. Make use of the cards in the waste pile. So I have a jack here, cannot be played, right? I have a 4, cannot be played. Oh, a 4 could be played actually. Was that a jack of diamonds? It might have been. So that was my apologies if it was. I have a king of diamonds that could be played to the first foundation pile. 6 of hearts, right? The 6 has been played in the second foundation pile. I can go ahead and play a 6 in the third foundation pile. The king has been played in the first foundation pile. I can play a king to the second foundation pile. Right? So you can sort of see how the game is sort of played. A king has been played to the second foundation pile. I can play a king to the third foundation pile. A king has been played to the third foundation pile. I can play a king to the fourth foundation pile, right? And so you can play, the order of the foundation pile does not matter, right? But you can only play cards into the foundation pile if the card of the equal rank has been played in the foundation pile that is directly above it. So can't do anything with these 7s right now. Can't do anything with that 3. Nor can I do anything with the 5. Nor I can play the 6 because the 6 has been played in the third foundation pile. I can play it in the fourth foundation pile. The queen has been played in the first foundation pile. I can play the queen into the second foundation pile. The 5 has not been played in the second foundation pile. I cannot play the 5 in the third foundation pile. The ace, we can play it in, right? The first foundation pile has no foundation pile directly above it, and so there is no restriction in that regard. The queen has been played in the second foundation pile, but not the third foundation pile. And the fourth foundation pile is concerned with the foundation pile that is one directly above it. Therefore, since the queen has not been played in the third foundation pile, we cannot play the queen in the fourth foundation pile. We'll continue on. So we play the 9, right? And we'll continue on drawing. And so now we can go through the stockpile again. So eventually you will win, and this is one of those games that's just fun to play and relax, right? Because you don't have to worry about losing. I can play my jack. My 10 has been played in the first foundation pile. I can play the 10 into the second foundation pile. The jack has not been played in the second foundation pile. I cannot play the jack to the third foundation pile. The ace has been played in the first foundation pile. I can play the ace to the third foundation pile. The 3 has not been played to the second foundation pile. I cannot play the 3 to the third foundation pile. The 5 has not been played to the third foundation pile. I cannot play the 5 to the fourth foundation pile. The 5 has not been played to the second foundation pile. I cannot play the 5 to the third foundation pile. So as you can see, I am repeating it just to really iterate and make a point. The 8 has been played in the first foundation pile. I can go ahead and play the 8 in the second foundation pile. The queen has not been played in the third foundation pile. I cannot play the queen in the fourth foundation pile. So now we'll go through the deck again. The 8 has not been played in the third foundation pile. I cannot play the 8 in the fourth foundation pile. The ace has been played in the second foundation pile. I can play the ace in the third foundation pile. The jack has not been played in the second foundation pile. I cannot play the jack in the third foundation pile. The 5 has not been played in the third foundation pile. I cannot play the 5 in the fourth foundation pile. The 5 of hearts has not been played in the second foundation pile. I cannot play the 5 of hearts, or sorry, the 5 in the third foundation pile. The 2 of spades has not been played in the second foundation pile. I cannot play the 2 of hearts in the third foundation pile. The 4 of clubs has not been played in the third foundation pile. I cannot play the 4 of hearts has not been played in the fourth foundation pile. I cannot play the 4 of clubs in the the 4 of hearts has not been played in the third foundation pile. I cannot play the 4 of clubs in the fourth foundation pile. So, what's going on here? Let us sort of just demonstrate one more time what's actually happening, right? And so, we can't play this 7, can't play this 3, can't play this 9, can't play this 9. Okay, so basically we're actually stuck. And so, I said it was hard to lose, but we somehow managed to do it, right? And so this does, oh, we have our ace of clubs there. And so maybe we did not manage to lose because it is very, very hard to lose, right? As you can go through the stockpile on an unlimited number of times. And so I think we have gotten the win here, hopefully. Oh, we're in a bad spot here. It seems like we have lost, right? So we did manage to lose somehow. And that is embarrassing for me, as it is quite hard to lose this game, but that's okay. It happens sometimes. Right? There's no 3 in the second foundation pile. And it is sort of luck based as well, depending on how your reserve piles are sort of dealt, really. Yep, so it seems like we've lost, right? So we're out of moves. We've actually lost Osmosis, right? So it is possible, although it's very rare to lose Osmosis. I think I demonstrated how to play quite well in that I was talking about each move as I made it. But let's just sum it up one more time, right? Osmosis is a solitaire card game. It's played very unusually. It's unique. It's the only game that's played like this, really. And what you'll need is a standard 52 card deck. The objective of the game is to move all the cards to 4 foundation piles by suit in any order. In terms of setting the game up, 4 cards each are initially dealt face down to 4 reserve piles. The top card is then turned face up in each reserve pile. In terms of the foundation, 1 card is dealt face up to the first foundation pile. The remaining cards are set aside forming a stockpile, and you'll also have room for an empty waste pile. In terms of the gameplay, the card dealt to the first foundation pile sets the suit for that pile. The remaining 3 foundation piles have your 3 other suits. The top card of a reserve pile can be played to the foundation. When no move is possible, cards are dealt 3 at a time from the stock to the waste pile. Only the top card of the waste pile is available for play. You are allowed to go through the stockpile on an unlimited number of times. In the first foundation, any card of the same suit can be played. And any of the other 3 foundation piles, only cards with those ranks can be played which have already been played in the foundation pile one above it. The other 3 foundation piles can honestly be started with any card as well, as long as that rank has already been played to the foundation pile one above it. Right, and so in the foundation pile one above it, the 9 was played, and so I can start this with the 9 of hearts. Right, and so we can continue playing like so. The queen was played in the first foundation, I can play the queen to the second. The game is won once all the cards are moved to the foundation piles. And so I've already summed up how to play. I've explained the rules quite well. what I'll do now is go through a quick demonstration, just sort of showing you the beauty really of the game. Cannot play that 7 either. We're getting very unlucky here. Finally, we are able to start off a pile. The 6 was played in the first foundation pile, we can play it in the second. So we'll quickly go through this round again. As you can see, we are making moves. I apologize for my silence there. Right, but if the card has been played in the foundation pile above it, we can play it in that foundation pile, right? The third is concerned with the second with the first, and the fourth with the third. We can play that ace there, actually. And that will open up a huge realm of possibilities for us. Cannot play that 4, unfortunately. Nor can I play that 3. So notice how it's entirely dependent. So you can get in a scenario where it seems like you can't play any card, right? Luckily we got lucky there, and we're able to play these cards, right? So we're able to play a large sequence of cards there. Well, it's once again sort of dependent on the cards played above you. And so if you get a bad draw, which it seems like we have in this scenario, you can get stuck. So once again, we did lose Osmosis because we were stuck in a never-ending loop, right? But that wraps up how to play. It's sort of simple to understand, but its abstract nature makes it hard to have any real strategy when you're playing, right? One strategy I suggest would be to sort of try to keep your foundation piles even, okay? And in that regard, I mean that if you have one card here, you flip through until you get one card in the rest of them, right? Sort of keeping all the foundation piles even. That way you don't get in positions where you're in a stalemate, constantly flipping through. And so just to, I guess, hammer the point home, we'll try doing that here, although it is hard to do so. Yep, so it's not going to be the case there. So we're looking for a 9 of spades now. right, or any other real beneficial card. But that essentially sums up how to play. There's no point of going through another demonstration round. I hope you enjoyed this somewhat different solitaire card game, and thank you for watching.